guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you like the content that I've been putting up lately, but now it's time to kick things back into overdrive again. And why not start off with my review of the death of Superman. Now, if you've not been watching DC animated films, I suggest you start watching them because they're way better than their actual DC movies in theaters, because these movies actually make sense and they're actually animated, so you get more out of this than you do in the actual movies. And I'm gonna start doing these type of movie reviews because they're pretty fun. I mean, I get to sit down and I get to watch all these movies and I give y'all my take on how these movies go, how I feel about the movies, and so on and so forth. And on top of that, why not? I mean, like I said, the DC animated movies are way better than their live action counterparts. I mean, if you can ask anybody that watches these movies, they prefer you to watch the animated movies, not the DC like Batman versus Superman. That was a stinker. But if you go watch the animated version of Batman versus Superman, you're gonna get more out of it, and there's more of a story behind it. But that's not what y'all here for. Y'all here on my take on the recent Death of Superman movie that just came out. Now, let's start off things by first like, comment, and subscribe, and share this with your friends. But let's get to it. So, if you don't know the story of Death of Superman, it's pretty much a story that was made back in the 90s where, just like the title, Superman dies. And how does he die is the question. Well, I like how in this movie they just got right to it. They really got to it. They somewhat try to throw a little story in there, show that Superman is a big softie, but at the end of the day, we want to see Doomsday, and that's what it was all about. That Superman was getting more and more into being a human than an alien. He was showing Lois Lane that hey, these are my parents. These are his actual biological parents and his adopted parents, but he has not told her that Superman is also Clark Kent. And he has not got to that yet, and he feels that he doesn't want to harm her in any way, shape, or form. He doesn't want Lois Lane to be in his world of he doesn't want her to get hurt. Pretty much, he doesn't want her to know the secret of him being Superman. And when she finds out, her getting in the lines of being killed, and for Superman trying to protect her and stuff, is what I'm trying to get at. So he wants to keep that side of himself hidden while she just knows his human side. But later on down the line, he ends up telling her because of the fact that when he had a meeting with the rest of the JLA, he asked Flash, because Flash was supposedly getting married like the next week, and he asked Flash, does Iris know? He said, of course Iris knows. I mean, that's part of marriage, and that is true. That is part of marriage. You don't hide nothing from your spouse. Even if you are an alien from another planet that's been blown up and you've been shot from that blown up planet to our planet. And Barry had made a point on this one too, even though they were trying to make Barry seem like the clown in the movie, even though he wasn't really in there a lot. He pretty much sat there and told Superman, like, that's part of marriage. You just don't hide that stuff from people, Like, for instance, Hal Jordan, if he's going through the whole, dealing with Star Sapphire, or I forgot her name at the moment, but dealing with her, you have to let your spouse or your significant other know that, hey, I have superpowers. Hey, I'm the protector of Metropolis or Gotham City, and so on and so forth. So with that, Superman finally broke down and told her. But as he broke down and told her at the table, he took her out to eat, lunch. Told her that, yo, I'm just not a farm boy, I'm also Superman. Took his glasses off and told her to get a good look at him. And I'm like, Lois is really stupid. Like, how could you not know that Clark Kent was Superman? Pretty much everybody's stupid. It's like, all he did was put he put on the glasses. That's all he did was put on glasses. I never got that for as long as I've been alive. I've always questioned that, like, how stupid are these people in the comics? But that's how they are in the comics. But we're gonna get back to the side of Doomsday. He just came out of space, crash landed on Earth, started wrecking shit. No motive, just he started wrecking shit. He don't care. He's just a beast. He's a brute. So what can we really do? But the main thing I did like was that scene in outer space where they had Hank Hank Henshaw and his crew, and they was up in space, and they were trying to fix a satellite or something. Then they noticed that an unidentified object was coming their way, and Hank Henshaw's like, it's all right. Superman's got us. Superman's gonna save us. Superman, he got this. And he keeps talking about Superman. He's really on Superman's tip at this time. And that's another thing now about this movie that I found hilarious. Everybody loves Superman except for Lex. Everybody loves Superman. Superman can't do no wrong, right? Well, Hank is talking about how, yeah, Superman got our back. Superman's gonna come and save us and all. And the sad thing about it is, he didn't. Hank's crew all died, and everybody's just like, damn, Superman didn't come and save us or nothing. Like, they just, Excalibur blew up, killed everybody, and Hank Henshaw actually appears again later on in this movie, but he only gets a brief, like, 50 seconds of, like, screen time. But back down on planet Earth, Doomsday just wrecked everybody, beat everybody. And another funny thing that I found hilarious about these new 52 DC animated movies is they always add new people, and they never explain where the fuck they come from. Martian Manhunter and Hawkman, for instance, they just came out of nowhere. Like, that, they just didn't explain it, just there. At least in the last Teen Titans movie, they at least showed that Donna Troy is on the team taking place of Terra, but other than that, we're not getting no explanation of where she's coming from or where Hawkman and Manhunter came from. Hopefully they do a movie about it, but if they don't, then oh well. So after he wrecks everybody, Superman comes down, does all his damage he could, and come to find out, when Doomsday uses this laser beam on Superman, he starts to bleed. You can see that he's actually bleeding. Like, oh man, he's actually taking some damage from this beast, this behemoth. And what we learned is that the fight lasted like a good 10-15 minutes. It was actually a decent fight. I actually loved every bit of the fight. But the main thing is that after killing Doomsday, Superman dies. And that leads us to the end of the movie, pretty much. Because pretty much it's just them, duking it out for a good 30-25 minutes, So after they duke it out, Superman's buried. Everybody's talking about how they gonna miss Superman. At the end, we come to his tomb. They open up his tomb, and come to find out he's not there. They look up, and there's a shadowy figure that looks like Superman. Might not be Superman, but it could be Superman. And he flies off. And that's the end of the movie, per se. So 4 things happened at the end, post-credits, because everybody's starting to do these post-credit scenes and stuff. And what the post-credit scenes is, the first post-credit scene was earlier in the movie. Lex Luthor was with some scientist from Cadmus, and it showed a test tube baby. Well, not a test tube baby, because the thing was all grown. And I thought that was Superman's clone. Come to find out, that's Superboy. Then more credits play. Then you see a black man in the laboratory, kind of, sorta, banging on something, and you see Superman's S made of steel, which is steel. He's in the comic books. I would do a video on him as Superboy later on this week. Then another credits go through. Then we get another post-credit scene where pretty much I think the Fortress of Solitude is being made, because I don't think Superman had the Fortress of Solitude in these movies yet. Then another set of credits is played. Now this is where, remember how I told y'all about Hank Henshaw earlier in the video? Well, he does make a return as we go back to space, and you see a cybernetic Superman, half human, half cyborg, flying through the sky. Then you see a logo of Superman's S, and it just starts dripping blood. And if you don't read comics, I need y'all to go check this comic out. And it's called The Reign of Superman, which is the next movie that's coming out next year. They already announced it, so you ain't got to go to Google and Google when's the next DC movie coming out, because that's they pretty much said this was gonna be it. So I'm gonna explain all 4 Supermans, then come back with another video and tell y'all how the Reign of Superman is supposed to go. But first, I'm gonna give y'all the video on these guys. Other than that, guys, this, like I said, all the DC animated movies are pretty much legit. You can do no wrong with these movies, and if you do some wrong with it, at least you can make up for it. And I have to say, what really kicked it off was Flashpoint Paradox, and I'm gonna do a video on that later on this week, because that's what started the New 52. So I had to give this movie an A, because this movie was awesome. I loved it. I loved it a lot, because they didn't do much talking, they did more fighting, because most of the movie was taken up from Doomsday and Superman duking it out, because it's the death of Superman, so we need to hurry up and get to him killing folks. So, but other than that, guys, that's all I got for you. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, and all that good stuff. I appreciate y'all coming through. Peace.